Hello and welcome to the Around the Birch Fire podcast, live today, Saturday, March 10th, 2024. Normally streamed every other week Sundays and uploaded on Mondays on Spotify and YouTube. Starring me, normally Kiwi Kachi, but today, Rux underscore is our guest and temporary co host. Who the fuck are you?
Um, Hi, my name is Kiwi Koch. You can find me on twitch.tv/Kiwi Koch. Um,
Oh man,
no.
tell me about Fortnite.
um, yeah, no, today's Mario Day, eh?
It
Yeah,
is. I think the other day
I'm
was also
Rux.
Women's Day.
Yeah, well, it's Women's Month.
I see.
Um, the yeah, I don't really do anything anymore. It's just Rux.
Living the dream. I
Trying,
think
just doing the good stuff. Looking for a job.
fair enough. Were the rumors about your OnlyFans true?
Yeah, there was a time. Yeah,
I missed it, didn't I?
yeah. Sorry, didn't tell anybody about it.
Did I ever tell you that my OnlyFans account got locked down because I didn't post enough?
Oh yeah. But that reminds me of whenever I was actually into dating apps and I made a Match.com account, and the next day I got an email saying that my account was closed for being inactive, and I'm like, 1 day of inactivity, right?
I think I think Match.com was just talking shit about you.
Yeah, basically, it's just like, what the fuck?
God, just sign up for a dating app, and the next day they're just like, sorry, you don't get bitches. Fuck off. We're closing your account down. Just like Jesus Christ. I literally
That
just
was
signed up. What the fuck?
at least 5 years ago. I know it's been longer before I moved out to Portland. So,
Uh, yeah, I I'm glad I don't do anything with Tinder or anything. Just holy shit, that
I
was
never touched that one.
oh
Never touched
god.
it. I did like OK Cupid. I did Bumble for a short amount of time.
I actually got a good couple of matches on Bumble.
Bumble just was kind of just. I actually used the professional connection side of it more than I did the dating side of it.
Yeah, I mean that's always the bad thing with Tinder is half the people are just trying to they'll hit you with the I'm just looking for friends, and it's like that's not what this app is for.
Yeah,
To be fair, the app isn't for dating. The app is for a quick fuck.
one
But
night stands. Yep.
Bumble at least had the friendship side, so that way there was no excuse if you're on the dating side, you were there for dating.
I actually made a few friends on OK Cupid. Still friends with them to this day.
Yeah, I there was one girl that I matched with on Bumble that we just chatted for a bit about anime and whatnot. We eventually did make plans as like friends to watch Psychopaths together, but that never happened. They were like, I think that they had an autoimmune disease and then COVID hit, and they were just like,
Uh,
you
yeah,
know,
not going anywhere.
yeah, not going anywhere. It's like, all
Nope.
right, fair enough. I didn't push anything, but
I don't
she,
blame at
uh,
all.
I think she was also worried that I was gonna like fall for her or something like that. And it's like, I mean, I'll fucking know. But then I started dating Potato and haven't really talked to those. Occasionally, I get a text from them. Like a while ago, they texted me about a cat from like basically like an animal. I think it was a dog that my grandmother gave to her. Apparently, I had a mutual friend with this woman. It was my grandmother, which is weird. But you know, yeah, they texted me about a dog that my grandmother gave them, and it was just like, are you able to take in a dog or know anybody that can take in a dog? Because something about a abusive like ex, and the person that had the dog also was like abusing the dog and stuff. It's like, well, shit. I can't do anything with animals, and I don't know anybody about that. Sorry.
Yeah, no. So
Interestingly.
gaming, gaming, and you had mentioned to me so gaming and what was the other thing you guys like to talk about?
Oh,
Gaming and
so gaming in D&D tends to be the most common things that get brought up, but it's at the same time, podcast that is literally just all of those uh, over and over again is yeah. I
have
just got
the whole Yuzu emulator thing happened after the last podcast, right?
oh
So
yeah, Yuzu got destroyed. I watched a video about that from Mudahar, if you know who he is.
don't know that guy. Um,
Some
all I
ordinary
know is that
gamers.
most YouTubers have started to really kind of annoy me with the way they cover it because they seem to leave out a lot of facts that a lot of people don't seem to find out about unless they're in like some Discord channel or whatever where somebody's just sharing a little bit more information about it. So
Yeah,
it basically comes down to Nintendo went after them not because they're an emulator, but because they fucked up.
yeah, they had a bit of a piracy thing from what it seemed like.
Yeah. And
And
a lot of the bigger YouTubers that that have been covering it and like part of their like news segments and stuff, they all seem to kind of go Nintendo bad, Yuzu good, and it's like no, Yuzu was not good.
no, 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 like the some ordinary gamers, the guy that covered it that I watched, it just literally pointed that out. It's like they like read the statements like it seems like they got a gun to their head when they wrote this shit, but yeah, it makes sense because you basically had pirated games through it. Uh,
I don't really have a source for it other than my roommate, but my roommate told me that apparently the amount of money that it would have cost the Yuzu devs to actually like go into court against Nintendo for all that, it would have been like $1 million, and then they
oh
settled for over 2 million. So you're kind of sitting there like, okay, well they settled for over 2 million. They could have fought it at 1 million.
yeah,
It sounds to me like they didn't want something found.
yeah. Whenever I mean, also at the same time,
And that's a lot of money, but I mean they were making a lot of money for a long time.
yeah. What was there was somebody that
Like average of $30,000 a month they were making on Patreon.
yeah, what was the game developer or the not game developer? I think it was a developer, but what a developer sued somebody to the point where they had to give like 40% of their wages for the rest of their life. What developer
Yeah,
was that?
Bowser. His name was something Bowser. I'm pretty sure.
Was it Nintendo again that did that?
Yeah. Um, to be fair, I think he was actually running a ROM service. So
Yeah, it was it when I
you're
saw it.
distributing ROMs, you're pirating. Sorry, that's
Yeah,
just how that works.
when I saw that, I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, that's a little overkill for whatever that was, but all right.
Yeah, but I mean, copyright law don't fuck around.
Yeah, I mean,
Japanese law is quite a bit different too. Japanese law doesn't have stuff like fair use.
yeah,
They have like anti-bootleg laws and stuff too. So Japanese companies tend to be a little bit more serious over copyright and IP related things.
yeah,
Purely on the fact that I mean they have a law that they created after the war so that their economy could recover and all the businesses could recover. Um, that's literally just nobody can like take something you did and copy it
yeah.
so that the original company behind that product could come back in full force without um any like direct competition for that one item, that
Mm,
one specific thing. So a lot of companies that law is still around. And a lot of companies still kind of just treat everything as this is important to us. We don't want anybody else using it.
yeah,
Um, but even when you get out of that, the DMCA has always been kind of hit or miss with what people think about it and how it's used, obviously. So a lot of people, when they saw Nintendo's going after an emulator for a DMCA claim, Nintendo's in the wrong for this because emulators are fine, kind of thing, right? It
yeah.
wasn't that they were saying emulators are bad, even though they do say that on a daily
Oh
occasion.
yeah, they fucking hate
It's
emulators.
it's the fact that there is legal precedence in the US already that already says emulators are fine. Just don't distribute BIOS with it. Don't distribute pirated content with it, right?
Yeah.
And the anybody that's emulated that's used yuzu, Ryujinx, whatever, they know that to properly play anything on those, you do have to have a Switch BIOS file and decryption keys and BIOS and everything.
So basically, hook
Otherwise, you
your.
can't play games with it.
I think you just like hook up your Switch to your computer through the
Nope.
USB.
You,
No.
you can't even. No, the only way to get those decryption keys is to homebrew your Switch.
Hmm.
Um, to modify the software on the Switch, which that's another thing I didn't hear a lot of people talking about is a lot of people are like, yeah, but you should be able to get your own key and that shouldn't be illegal. Well, the end user license agreement, the EULA,
Yeah.
most likely somewhere in their states that the software on the Switch is to be used as is and is not to be reverse engineered, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
Now there is some gray area into whether reverse engineering is legal or not, but if EULA says you shouldn't do it, you probably shouldn't do it. And if you do homebrew your Switch, you are taking on that responsibility yourself. That if Nintendo finds out, you're in trouble, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, whether or not they decide to ban your account or go after you in a court of law. Usually they don't do that to just some random dude that's just like, I'm gonna homebrew my Switch.
Yeah.
But if you are a company like if you're the company running something like Yuzu, and you have established an actual corporation, you're distributing all the tools needed to crack all that stuff so that um, you can get your decryption keys off of your Switch, and you can dump your ROM files off of your Switch, and all that kind of stuff. You're kind of complicit with the piracy side of things, whether or not you are using it in that regard or not. And then on top of that,
Unfortunate.
from another bit of kind of a stab at the Yuzu team is they shouldn't have been having this nice little private repository on probably like what Google Drive or something that had a bunch of Nintendo Switch in it
Hmm.
that they got from the community. It wasn't their own. They didn't go out and buy it.
Yeah.
People were there was like one dude that was providing a majority of them, including the the leaked copies of Tears of the Kingdom were provided to them by the same guy, I'm pretty sure. So
Hmm.
they were not using the money they got from Patreon donations to buy games and improve their own emulator from their own games.
Hmm.
They were taking pirated copies of games and optimizing their code around copies of games they didn't own.
Hmm.
And from what I understand, it sounds like they were not really into buying their own stuff and optimizing. Like they were playing it in a way where people were basically giving them copies of games because they wouldn't do it themselves. So that's also kind of a, oh no, don't do that.
I mean,
And
it
then on
saves a
top of
buck.
that, I also guess they were stealing code from other emulators to use in theirs. So,
Hmm.
you know, you also got a little bit of just unethical behavior on that side too. So,
Yeah.
just not good, not good.
Man, it would be great also if just Nintendo would just release a lot of those fucking games.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Um, don't think they ever will. There's a lot of
No.
games that they have like slowly started like re-releasing games. They
Yeah.
put out a statement after the whole Yuzu thing saying that we are going to like work on like getting more games into our virtual console and that kind of stuff. And it's like that's all well and good, but it needs to actually happen.
Yeah.
Not just be talked about, it needs to actually happen.
Basically. Oh man. Speaking of games that were released, I believe EA just put out a bunch of shit on Steam of older games, like
Yeah.
Dungeon
Yep.
Keeper 2.
I was actually kind of surprised to see EA do that because
Yeah.
they've been kind of the company that's been like, we bought this company, we burned it to the ground, and then we just ignored that it ever existed.
Mm-hmm.
Command and Conquer,
Dungeon Keeper, like I said.
Westwood Studio and
Yeah, basically
all
all of
them.
Bullfrog. Holy shit.
And like I didn't actually check. My roommate had told me that the price for the entire Command and Conquer collection, which I grew up on the Command and Conquer games, is really cheap. But I haven't actually looked into that.
I clicked on Command and Conquer 4 Tiberian Twilight, and it's overwhelmingly negative.
Yep,
But
the 17 Command and Conquer games.
yeah,
Um, total
I
of
mean,
$10.
yeah. Honestly, do
So
I own some of these?
Command and Conquer 4 was one of those games that I want to say it came out after Westwood Studio was bought by EA, so it wasn't really the one that everybody really enjoyed. The ones that people liked were like Tiberian Sun, Command and Conquer 1 and 2. Some people liked 3. I think a good portion of people liked 3. Red Alert 1 and
King's
2.
Wrath.
Red Alert 3 was kind of a hit or miss. Like some people liked it, some people didn't. It looked better than Red Alert 2, but it also came out like several years later, so the graphics at that point and PCs in general were better. Generals, a lot of people really liked that game. People were looking for Generals 2, like I was back
Mm,
during the Frostbite 3 engine, when that was announced with Battlefield 3. They were creating Generals 2 under the Frostbite 3 engine, and then, or was it the Frostbite 2? It was either Frostbite 2 or 3. But like, looked like
Commander.
a great game. Like, looked like they were doing really well with the development process, and then EA tried turning it into a web browser based pay as you win, kind of like a gotcha esque game before
Oh
gotcha
yeah,
games were really a
baby.
thing. And it was kind of like, no, we don't want this. And then EA's like, oh, you don't want this, then we're shutting the entire project down.
Yeah.
So Generals
Classic
2 just never
EA.
came to be.
Classic EA. We bought this thing and we made it our own with all this microtransaction, all
Yeah.
this other shit. And everyone goes, "We don't like it." It's like, ah, so you don't like Command and Conquer anymore? Got it. It's like, no, that's
Uh,
that's not
to
what
to
we
be fair,
said.
like real time strategy isn't as popular as it
Oh
was
yeah,
back in the 90s and early 2000s. So like the popularity of just real time strategy has kind of
died off
waned.
unfortunately. Yeah,
But I think there's probably going to be a resurgence considering like the remake of or the remaster of Age of Mythology coming out this year.
is a remaster
Um
coming?
yeah, full remaster. The same people that did Age of Empires 2
Oh man,
um
Brian's gonna
remaster,
creep his
they are coming
pants.
back and they're doing Age of Mythology. So we're getting a second re-release of Age of Mythology.
Uh,
Um
Age of
the
Mythology
the first
retold.
re-release that they did was just a we now have widescreen support. That was
Hmm,
basically it.
classic.
This one they're redoing the models, the animations, they're
Yeah,
rebalancing the entire game. Um, they
yeah.
showed a
I'm
little
looking
bit
at some
of it
pictures.
off on the Age of Empires YouTube channel, which is really funny that they never made another YouTube channel. They're also tweeting out with Age of Empires Twitter account instead of just making an Age of Mythology one. So that's interesting enough.
That is
But
pretty funny, but
they're making Titans way scarier. One of the two of the things they stated they're changing with the Titans with Retold is they will be able to walk through water. You'll be able to
oh
actually
yeah.
like cross rivers and oceans with a Titan.
I
And they'll
remember.
also do increased damage against structures and walls. So they'll actually be kind of scary
I
to come
think
across whenever you have a Titan bearing down on your walls.
I think
So
Titans actually did gain a small benefit. They had like the siege
not
buff or
really.
something.
It
No?
wasn't it wasn't,
Huh.
actually, I don't think they even had a siege buff. I'd have to double check, but I do know that they stated that they'll do increased damage to walls and structures, so it might just be, like, more of a siege buff or a higher siege buff or whatever. I think,
Yeah.
basically, the amount of damage they did was about the same as a catapult or a trebuchet, I can't remember. It wasn't a lot, though. It took a little while
Yeah.
to break down a wall with a Titan when you kinda sat there and been like, "This dude could literally fucking step over this wall."
Yeah. Oh man. I remember me, Rye, and I think Cam. played. I think it was actually me, Rye, Cam, and Golly. We did a 1v1v1v1,
I think I
and
was there actually
you might have been the person instead of
because
Golly.
yeah, because I remember uh I
Rye
remember like
steamrolled one of you, or two, both of you maybe.
Rye steamrolled all of us because Rye is just really good at that game for some reason.
Yeah,
So they're like, I grew up on this game and I've never been that good. What the fuck?
well, here's the thing: is that I probably would have won that if Titans could have crossed fucking water,
Yeah,
because I made
we
my
were playing
Titan.
on were we playing on the Nile map or
I
something like
think
that?
so. Yeah. I went Ragnarok and just made my I went full resource production, and because I went full production, Ragnarok hit and all of my resource production became infantry that were quite strong.
Yeah, I think
But
the way that basically played out was we started playing and I was like just kind of trying to enjoy playing the game with friends like
yeah,
and then all of a sudden Rye's entire army just like destroys me and I'm like I
I might be slightly to blame
I
to
just
that
kind of wanted
because
to play, you know?
yeah,
It's
that
the
might have
first
been
time I've played in years. I just want to play.
that might have been my fault because me and Rye played Age of Empires and like 1v1 each other. One of the first things I did was completely blockade any sort of passage over to the other side of the map and basically just locked him down where he was. And then another time, I showed him the might of the Huns. Do you know about Age of Empires too?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
did play a little bit of Age of Empires 2 together as
You
well, and
you know what
I
the
grew up
Huns
with that one
is,
too.
or what the
Yeah,
Huns
I know
like
the
big
Huns
thing
do.
is? Yeah, really fucking strong. Don't have to worry about houses. Just spam out horse archers and
Yep.
yeah, literally in like Act Two, he was like starting to get like his shit together, and meanwhile, I'm killing off his people, like his townsfolk.
Yeah.
Uh, so I wouldn't be
Oh.
surprised if when he went to Age of Mythology, got back into it, he's like, I need to have something to beat him,
Oh,
or else he
another
was just
change that they
good.
were making. So thing with Age of Mythology, if you remember, they didn't actually have like different sprites based on if you upgraded units or not. So you get
Yeah,
all like all the unit upgrades, but nothing would change about like what a unit looked like.
yeah.
Other than like you just made everybody into into a hero because that was a fun god power. Where they just basically get a glow
Oh
around them.
yeah, I think that's
Um,
that's the thing I'm thinking of actually. I was like, I swear there was something, but no,
yeah, I
I
can't
think
remember which
that's
god it does. Me and Kiwi were actually talking about it a few streams ago. I guess Kiwi and Kieran are also big Age of Mythology fans too. Um,
it was a cool
but
idea.
the the change that they're making is that like if you upgrade your Pegasus, it actually gains like extra colors on it and stuff like that. So they're
Ooh.
actually making it so that an upgraded unit actually looks different from a non-upgraded, which is kind of nice if you're playing against somebody and you're like, oh, that's just a Pegasus, and it's like, oh no, it's actually an upgraded Pegasus or whatever.
Yeah, you can get a lot more information just from looking at it. Oh man, did you ever play Judgment Keeper?
Nope.
Do you even know what it is?
I know I've heard of the name. I don't really know anything about it.
Man, it. I grew up on that game. Basically, the idea is that you are making a kingdom underground. You like dig out things. You have imps that go and dig through the walls and set up things, and basically you have preachers and warlocks like demons all coming in to live in your dungeon,
Hmm.
and you have to pay them. You collect taxes from them.
You
You
come
did
and live here, and I have to pay you. What the fuck?
well. They also go kill things for you. They also basically do jobs for you, like the warlocks will
This
study
is
in
like
the
a
library
reverse
for
capitalist
spells.
society.
Oh man. Well, it. Let's go ahead and put it here. I'll show you the Steam page at least. But essentially, you every single creature that comes into your dungeon has a job that they can do. Like I said, wizard like the warlocks will research for spells. Um, the BDSM women will torture people to convert them to your side, so you can have heroes on your team. Uh, Shit like that, basically. Um,
Yeah, Populous was another game that came out. Populous and Alpha Centauri and all those. Populous was like basically their answer to Sid Meier's Civilization, if I remember.
Hmm.
Been a while since I've actually looked at. Oh no, no, I'm thinking of a different game. I'm not sure what this is. I do remember. I feel like I played. I remember the logo. I feel like I played it before at some point.
I've heard the name, but that's about it. Man, when are they gonna take? When are they gonna give
It's a
us Black
god
and
game. You
White?
play as a god. That's what it is.
Kind of like Black and White back in the day.
Yep. It's their
Man,
answer to Black and White. Then I feel like there was something that they did at some point that was a answer to Civilization. I don't remember. The fact
hmm,
that they have brought back like SimCity 3000 is kind of crazy. Like, do they at least have like some SimCity 4 on here? I didn't actually see if they did that one.
Sim City. Yeah, Sim
SimCity
City
4 might have
4.
already been on Steam for a while though, because I think they
Yeah.
already had it. Yeah. So that was another game. SimCity 3000, SimCity 4, Deluxe Edition. I had the physical box set for the ultimate little like r- extra wide box with
Hmm.
2 discs in it.
Add one of those for Diablo 2 and Baldur's Gate.
And we went and bought it at a Circuit City.
Oh man. There's a Circuit City nearby, and it was a very unique one because the building had like this like sort of outside area that
Hmm.
was like just a big square. It's white at the moment. And I remember that place so vividly. I remember going there to buy. So I growing up, I my mother played EverQuest, the original
Mm.
EverQuest, and my dad had played it too. Um, I played it, but I would play on my dad's account. And basically, one Christmas, I was like, "Let's get Dad the Agent there, the EverQuest expansion." It's like, "Are you just getting this for yourself?" No, I think Dad'll like it. I got at a Circuit City. Um, fucking Hellgate London. I remember picking up my copy of Hellgate London from that. Am I a harbinger? A harbinger consumer? God, there's so many games that I really love that just died.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty true for anybody that grew up around the era of Circuit City. It's a lot of games that are just like not around anymore. A lot of franchises. Most of it was taken by EA. The other
let's
half
um
was Microsoft.
let's have a moment of silence for those games that we lost.
Still pissed off with Command and Conquer and EA. A few
Yeah.
years ago, I've told this story so many times, but this is the first time on this podcast. But remember back in the day when, or not even back in the day, it was like 5 years ago or something like that. There was a E3, and EA's like Command and Conquer's coming back, and I'm sitting there like, holy shit, we're getting EA back. We're getting Command and Conquer back. Hell yeah, let's go. And then as a
The
mobile
monkey claw.
game, it's like you
Yeah.
motherfuckers. And then they brought 2 StarCraft 2 players out onto the
Yeah, yeah.
stage, and they all brought out the app and they shoutcasted the event. It's like
Literally, the person that did that was on a
they
podcast
literally
after
like
that.
to everybody who was a Command and Conquer fan in the 90s and early 2000s, they literally just walked up to them, grabbed their nads, twisted and pulled.
I was gonna say
EA's just like, fuck you.
I was gonna
This is
say
how much we hate you.
yeah. I was gonna say they literally went up to you, opened up your mouth, and took a shit inside of it. God damn. I remember it was either somebody who was a friend of one of those people on stage or the actual guy, but basically it was like, yeah, that was some fucking shit. I hated every second of it, but I had to be professional.
I had money.
Yeah.
You got paid. Oh, it's so yeah. No, right back down. I'm kind of surprised that EA went out of their way to release the entirety of the Command and Conquer Ultimate Collection on Steam.
Yeah,
That's really surprising to me.
it's fucking wild that they even released those old games. Like
Pretty
I
sure I have most of the Command and Conquer games on GOG already.
yeah, I like how like most of these Command and Conquer games are pretty like you would expect them to be overwhelmingly positive just because it sends a signal back up of wow, people actually like our old shit. Crazy. But I do like how they have
Not when you're selling each individual game for freaking
$10 each.
$10. Oh
20
wait, no.
bucks
If you click on it, you can
not on
only
sale.
buy it. No, if you click on a game, it literally only gives you two options.
The
Gives you either buy
subscription.
the entire bundle or you buy the EA Play subscription for $5 a month. And I'm sorry, what? No.
Yeah, no, but I mean 12 games for $10 at the
But like
moment.
it is really weird that like they're trying to say like like the price overall is like $20. Like
I
pretty
guess
sure the 17 the Command and Conquer Ultimate Edition collection when it first came out was probably around 20-30 bucks.
yeah.
So I don't know why they're trying to sell it for this much at this
Uh,
point. Because none of those games are new. Like, none of those games are new. Like the newest one I think might be Command and Conquer 4, 2010. Yeah.
Tiberian. Similar to Heart of Iron and Age of Mythology.
Then again, the release dates for everything is really messed up because for some reason they're saying Generals came out in 24.
Yeah.
So I heard that nope, that did not come out that long this
Well,
year.
his brand new game. Oh man, man.
I played General 0 Hour out the ass as a kid.
Mhm.
That was that was a fun game. There was actually like a bit of a modding community around it for a long time. I don't know if you can still get any of the mods. I'm sure
Probably.
I'm sure there's probably people out there that still
What was it?
have the
Mod
mods.
DVD? That was a thing.
I don't remember. My
Command
uncle
and
modded a freaking Tonka truck inside of it one time though. He modded himself, put a big ass fucking Tonka truck and just made it so that it would like just one shot anything it ran over.
that is
So
pretty
you'd have it
funny.
run over buildings.
Oh man, I think my dad made an Unreal Tournament skin, and that's what he did in terms of modding back in the day. Oh man.
Modding is way more complex nowadays.
Oh yeah. Holy shit. Some of that shit. I like to make mods for games, but that requires me knowing how to make mods.
Basically, you're basically expected to know like programming languages pretty well to make a lot of mods for most games now.
Yeah.
Unless it's like a direct mod supported game and they have like a mod
Yeah. Like
framework and everything.
anybody can kind of make a mod for any of the Elder Scrolls games or Bethesda game, basically. Pop up
Yep.
the creation kit, and you can kind of do some shit with that. At one point, I
But
was
if
kind
you
of
want to
looking at
mod
that.
anything that's basically if you want to mod anything that's Unity based, it's up to the developer to either build a mod kit for that or you have to use something like BepInEx, which is just a cross game Unity
I
modding
think.
framework, and then you have to do C. You have to
Ah, that's why. What does Valheim use for their engine?
I'm not sure.
I thought it was Unreal.
It might actually be a Unity game.
Maybe because you use BepInEx for Valheim.
Yeah, yeah. BepInEx is purely a Unity thing
Oh,
because it's basically what
yeah.
people are using to mod City Skylines 2 right now
Unity.
until they bring out their own mod toolkits.
Man, I
There are
didn't
a
get
lot of
it.
games that are Unity based, a lot more than what you would think. Like Unity
Yeah.
is just so ubiquitous now.
Yeah. It's just that most of like the bigger games that use it
They hide
know
it
how
really
to
well,
hide it,
that's
yeah.
for sure. I mean, if you go into any Unity game, they all have the same file structure for the
Mm,
games. There's a data file, there's a user data file
yeah.
folder, there's all
Unity's the
those
engine
different
that by
folders.
default settings open up in a little dialog box before you open it, right? Or when you
I
open
don't
it.
know if that's default. It might be a default thing.
Yeah,
Not sure.
I remember a while back hearing like somebody be like, "All right, so we automatically know this is a Unity game because the options menu is before you start the game." But who knows?
I know a lot of developers like Colossal Order, for instance. They tend to just make their own launchers for everything, anyways. So it's not like it would really matter.
Yeah. Oh man, I really want to. I like City Skylines, and I'm like think I should get City Skylines too,
I
but
have it, but I haven't really played it, and it's mostly because like I'm waiting for all the mods and
mm,
the official mod support and everything. Like there is like the Thunderstone launcher, I believe is the name of it, Thunderstore. I don't know.
yeah,
Um,
it is Thunder
and
Store.
that's what most of the mods are in right now, and it's like people that were like a lot of the modders are just people that they were really ubiquitous modders for the City Skylines 1 community. So
It makes
uh,
sense. If a good sequel is good, then people just go over to it no matter what.
the problem is that it's not a great sequel right now. A lot of
Uh,
people are going back to City Skylines 1 and playing that.
huh.
Um, YouTubers that were expecting like channel growth and viewer counts to go up ended up seeing the opposite
Uh,
when they started doing City Skylines
mostly,
2 content. And it was mostly because like City Skylines 2 is not very polished right now. As
huh.
much as I know that like and as much as I agree that the people that sit there and say I should be getting 60 FPS in the city builder, it's like but it's a city builder. You don't
You
really
don't
need
need it,
60
yeah.
FPS. 30 is fine. Like you can get around and build a city at 30 FPS.
Yeah.
It's not you don't need 60 for that. Um,
It's
but it's just that there's a lot of inconsistency with the frame rate. That's where the problem is. So you'll just have the frame rate jumping around and hitch up and everything, and it doesn't feel good. So
yeah. Makes I mean I'm reading a review and they're saying the same thing of like there's a lot of bugs and shit and one this is a quote from one of the top reviews I guess if I have it sorted by top but while it's not fair to expect City Skylines 2 to be as feature rich and polished as City Skylines 1 so close to launch, it is fair to expect it to be fully functional to the extent we were promised from marketing.
there's
Forgive the
also
lack of
kind of the
assets.
argument. There's also the argument that like it's a sequel. You should expect the same quality of life that came out with the first game, and you should expect a
Yeah,
little bit more.
yeah,
But instead, they didn't have some of the quality of life that City Skylines 1 had. And what people were really wanting, they didn't have that people were expecting to see in a base City Skylines 2 game.
yeah.
Um, Proper
Shit.
prop tool and prop line tools and that kind of stuff. But even that, you can't even place rocks in the base game. Like it's like okay, like
Huh.
there are like I'm the same way. Like I don't expect it to be as feature rich as City Skylines 1. but you should have the quality of life that we had in City Skylines 1.
Yeah. Apparently, this guy was saying that there's 3 different house models and 100 office buildings that look like identical gray Lego bricks.
So there's a lot to be said there. Um, House models are a little bit more modular than they used to be. So back in City Skylines 1, you had a house model and it was used for that model, period, right?
Yeah.
Um, with this one, the houses, instead of just being like we rebuilt the house because our land value went up. Instead, what they tend to do is they just upgrade the house that already exists there, so you'll get some like modular additions to the house and that kind of stuff, like
Pretty cool.
some like higher tech solar panels and stuff will start showing up
Yeah.
on roof housetops and that kind of stuff.
So instead of there being like for like 20 different houses, you have more of 5 that can be upgraded slightly differently depending on however the
Yeah,
game
the like
decides to do it.
they'll automatically upgrade. Now that being said, they all kind of tend to upgrade in the same way. So it's not like it's that
Yeah.
much different, but it's a little bit more than just we created 5 models. It's the same house with like slightly different changes to it. Instead it's one house that has like slightly different things about it when it is built.
Mm-hmm.
Um, one of the other changes is one of the other things is like um, the material they'll use for like driveways and patios and even with the parks, that kind of stuff. The material is different every time you place the building.
Hmm.
So they're not always gonna be that one type of concrete. Sometimes you'll get gravel, sometimes you'll get
Brick.
brick, red brick, gray brick, whatever.
Sometimes you'll get dead grass where there's your cousin's truck is parked and it's all just
That'd be
sandy and
kind of cool,
dirty.
actually.
Yeah.
Like,
The old redneck
I'm
one.
sure like there's a lot of people out there that really like detailing in um detailing in City Skylines 1 and making it look like a more realistic lived in world.
Oh yeah.
And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that would love to see something like that. Like, yeah, this one house in this like more slummy area is like they have so many cars, they don't have a place to actually park one of the trucks, so they just park it in the in the front yard or something,
Yeah.
or the side
Uh,
yard, and now it's turned into a driveway.
mm-hmm. Oh man. Let's see. Is this the part where we talk about urethra removal?
Oh my god.
what what have you been doing lately? Because I've been doing Cyberpunk. I've been able to play that recently.
Not a lot. I've been working on like resume and LinkedIn and that kind of stuff, trying to just get a job at this point. So,
Yeah. Do you wanna?
watching a lot of anime.
Fair enough. What anime did I watch? I'm gonna watch Bastard, and then I binge watched the So I did. Potato is like, oh, there's a Demon Slayer movie coming out. I want to go watch it. And I'm like, okay. Last time something came out, I fucked up and didn't watch it. So over 2 nights, I binge watched it all and went to the theater just to watch the last fucking episode of the season and the first episode of the next season for fucking $8. And I'm sitting here like I literally just watched this last night. One of my friends who hasn't watched it in a while is crying over the scene uh, because you know what happened the last episode of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very like, oh god, I'm emotional. He's already seen it and whatnot. Potato's already seen it, and literally within like the first like 3 minutes, I literally say, "Is this just the entire last episode?" And Potato doesn't like it if somebody's speaking in a movie theater, so she shushes the fuck out of me. Like, okay, so I'm literally sitting here like this, like, is there gonna be a movie today? Like, the fuck? No.
Yeah. I didn't expect it to actually be like a real movie. Like when I saw that there was going to be something in theaters for it, I was like, there is?
I
Because like the next arc is the Hashira training arc, which takes place right after the last season. There's not really anything in between. So sitting there like,
yeah.
why is there a movie?
Like
Like, what's this movie for?
like literally what happened was I watched the first season and then the train movie came out, so I watched it with Potato and
Hmm.
enjoyed it and
That is a
haven't
separate
watched
arc.
it
That
since.
is meant to that is meant to happen in the manga.
Yeah,
There
yeah,
wasn't enough time. It doesn't dedicate. There's not enough time in the manga to really turn it into a separate season, though.
yeah.
So that's why that was a movie, and I understand that one.
Yeah.
But whatever they were doing with this, I was like, I don't think there's actually anything they could turn into a movie here. Like,
Yeah.
part of me was thinking, are they like gonna be like turning the Hashira season into a movie and then also doing a season for it? I wasn't sure what was going on with that, so thank you for telling me not to go.
Yeah, I want to go. Apparently they did the same thing last time for the Sword Village arc and the I know it's called entertainment, but I wanted to say the prostitute arc. Um, entertainment arc. Yeah, apparently they did that too for that one.
It's
That's
the
the
red
one
light
that.
district. It's the
Yeah,
red light
yeah,
district.
yeah. Potato wanted to watch that because she thought it was a movie back when it came out. But yeah, Potato was pissed off when we finished that one. And I was just like, yeah, because have you ever? I don't know if you've ever done this, but you watch an episode and then the next day you accidentally watch the same episode again and you're not into it at all because you just watched it.
No, because I can usually tell within the
Yeah,
first
yeah,
few
yeah, yeah.
seconds of that anime that I've already watched it. I'm
But
like,
imagine
oh,
you paid $8 to watch,
yeah.
and then you realize, wait a second, motherfucker, it.
Yeah, the next season though has a lot of stuff coming out that's kind of just like what year do we live in kind of thing. Um, you can bring op you can open up
What year we live in, kind of thing.
yeah, cuz there are some series that are just like straight up stuff returning that haven't gotten seasons in like 10 years.
Oh, that's what you
Um,
mean. I know
so
Bastard had something like that where it
yeah,
was a.
Bastard got a full remake on Netflix, right? So
I
I
watched
watched
that
the
with
first season, but I haven't watched all of it.
hmm, yeah, I got. So Rhino told they I think it was I said something about anime openings that you never skip because they're
Mm,
bangers, and
right.
Rhino was like bastard, and I mean he's got a point. It is a pretty bitchin' soundtrack.
uh,
Uh,
I think the
or
thing that
songs.
probably takes like Bastard is not a series that I would recommend to just about anybody, right? That is one of those
Yeah,
series where it's a comedy dark fantasy series. It's not meant for everyone. Don't
yeah.
watch it if you don't like dark fantasy shit.
Also,
It's kind of the same thing with like Goblin Slayer, right? You don't watch it
oh yeah,
because you want to watch like a shonen battle series. No, you watch that because you want to be depressed. It's just- that's all it is, just depression. Um,
yeah. Also
it's what a
about
dark fantasy
Bastard.
is.
About Bastard, it's also all based on metal and
Yep,
not also
heavy
metal, but like
metal, heavy metal, hair metal.
yeah, there's suicidal tendencies is a punk genre, I think.
Yeah, in terms
Google.
of anime,
I'm not trying to kill myself. I want to know about the band.
yeah.
I typed in suicidal tendencies and it gave me the
It's
number.
like, are you okay? Yes, I'm fine. I promise.
It's
I
fine.
I listen to heavy metal because I'm okay. I swear.
I I put in someone's like username at one point, and I guess that they. Long story short, Google told me that child porn was illegal, and I'm like, what? What the fuck? I'm looking up a username right now. What the fuck?
I have done something similar to before, and I'm like,
Interesting,
Google?
that's a thing.
Google? Like,
Uh, oh, they're a metal. I guess yeah, they're metal rock. But yeah, it's with the old bastard thing. It's really funny with that. But then you just sort of see fucking him groping a girl
mhm.
all up, and it's like,
It's a real fucking weird ass show.
yeah, it's weird, but also funny, and
The main character is absolutely just kind of just what?
yeah, I just look at
Like
him and
in
he's
terms of like storytelling, the main character is a great character. Like that's just the fact
yeah,
of the matter.
it's
But it is not something
he's a piece of
everybody
shit.
should watch. He is a piece of shit. It's like what was that? What was that series? Oh, there was something last year, I think. There was something last season where there's like so many people that are sitting there like, God, now I have to look it up.
Uh, from like 2023.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what the series
Do you
is.
remember the genre at all?
I'm looking at a list right now, see if I can find it.
Oh my god! So we had to watch the Mugen Train thing dubbed because that was the only thing that was around, and I was really proud because I found a subbed in my area for the new Demon Slayer thing, for it to just be that, and all the
Yeah.
ads were in English.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they do that.
yeah, it's just like, huh?
I can't remember
Okay.
what the series was. There was a series.
Do you remember the genre?
No, I don't for some reason. I just can't remember what it was. It's I watch so many anime every season that I tend to forget what I've watched sometimes,
Fair enough.
depending on what it is. But basically, the main character and everybody around him are just all just really just terrible people. Um, and for some reason, there's people out there like this person's a better person than that person. I'm sitting there like none of these people are good people. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like they're all terrible human beings, yet somehow that's the story. That's just how it is. Yeah, everybody's a piece of shit, but you know what? They're all pieces
Yeah.
of shit to each other, so it's fine.
I mean, those can be fun stories.
There is one that's similar to that this season called Buchigiri. It's by the same person that created Banana Fish, and they also did Skate the Infinity. It's very boys love leaning in terms of the characters. Like the characters all tend to end up like they're not explicitly dating, they're not explicitly gay, they're not explicitly anything, but
There's a little bromance
the
going
way
on.
the story's written, the way that the person writes the characters, everything about the characters, the way they interact with you, you're just like gay boys in it.
You're just like,
You
is
know,
this a
they're
yaoi?
all just gay. Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
like
all just gay, you know. That's all. And Buchigiri is a Mappa original by the same creator of Banana Fish and Skate the Infinity.
hmm,
None of the characters are really good people. They're all kind of like I mean everybody in the series is like part of some gang essentially, right? So it's just like like they're all high schoolers in gangs and they all fight each other. Like,
yeah,
none of
and they're
these
all
people are
gay
good
for each
people.
other.
But one of the characters gets this like a just kind of gets this not really superpower. He gets this like genie um that he fuses with at any given at some given moment, and he punches somebody. And he punches them so hard that they all kind of just like develop crushes on him. It's so funny because they haven't really leaned into that plot point yet.
You know,
But it's so funny because he'll just scream at because the main character, like his entire motivation for life is I want to lose my virginity. So when he like when he like merges with this with his genie, he just shouts at the top of his lung to everybody so that everybody around him can hear, "I want to lose my virginity," and then just punches someone across the room.
Oh man.
And two of
Uh,
the gang leaders are both just like, "I'm in love."
I was gonna joke and say what this. When you were like he has a superpower. I'm like, what? When he punches people, he turns people gay.
Yep.
And yeah, actually turns out. Oh man. Apparently the author of the manga is female for Banana Fish
Mhm.
at least.
Yeah, she's the same creator for that. Skate the Infinity. Yep.
Oh man.
Skate the Infinity is good. I still haven't watched all of Banana Fish. It's on Amazon Prime, but Amazon Prime has ads now, so I'm just kind of like, do I want to watch it on there?
Damn. That's some bullshit. That reminds me.
Next season's pretty crazy in terms of what we're getting though, because we got two brand new adaptations from, I believe they are Shonen Jump series. You got Remonster and then Kaiju number 8. Kaiju number 8 I do know for a fact is Remonster. I'm not quite sure. It might be
What
another
happened to
series.
Kaiju number 7?
Yeah, that's the point.
Oh.
I have no idea. I haven't actually watched Kaiju. I haven't read any of Kaiju number 8. I know it's good, and I've heard a lot of good things about it, so I'm looking forward to the anime. It's Production IG doing it, so
Hmm.
it'll be kind of okay, I guess. Um, there is Remonster, which is kind of a dude reincarnates as a goblin,
That
and now
reminds
he
me
has to
of
like cause himself to evolve, and like he
kind
he's
of like I'm
basically
a spider,
always
so
fucking
what?
hungry. He gets I guess it would be like a seven deadly sin curse if I had a guess, kind of thing. Where he
Hmm.
just gets he gets reincarnated as like just a base level goblin, but with a ridiculous appetite, and he just starts eating monsters.
Hmm.
And he gains more abilities and evolutions and stuff after he eats more and more monsters. So that sounds like it's gonna be fun. Um, and then on top of that, you also have Black Butler coming back. Which its last season was 2008, I think,
Huh.
and it's
I
getting a brand new season, not a it's not a redo. It's just another season, and it's like
huh.
another season after how many
10
years?
years. Apparently 2014
Oh,
was
okay,
season 3.
okay,
Uh,
still 10 years
that's
though.
good.
Like, it's a long time. You also have
Yeah. That one's
Wolf
about
and
like
Spice. Wolf and
Satan.
Spice is getting a new adaptation.
Oh, isn't that the furry one?
Really good series.
Wolf and Spice. Oh. A lot of people lewd characters from this anime.
Yes. I mean, she is naked, like, she is butt ass naked in, like, the first episode. So,
That explains it. They did it to them to themselves.
yeah, that's just part of the story. It is, like, a more, like, adult cast, historical romance fantasy series with, like, some adventure elements to it.
Yeah. Ah, yes. Judging from these pictures, it's a classic. They're naked, but they have absolutely no nipples or genitals. That's another thing with like Bastard. I'm surprised that there weren't titties and vagines because the cyberpunk anime had all that shit.
I mean, to be fair, Berserk when did Berserk come like, the original Berserk get written? It was, like, 90s, 80s? Probably 80s if I had to guess,
Uh,
70s or 80s.
it had an adaptation in 1997. I've been told to watch the old Berserk and not the new
Berserk
Berserk if I ever
manga,
did.
Berserk not we're talking about Berserk, not Bastard, aren't we?
Huh? Yeah, you said Berserk. I said
Yeah,
Bastard.
yeah, Bastard
Yeah,
is,
Bastard was a
Bastard,
shonen.
derogatory, yep, okay.
Two
The
exclamation
original
points.
manga Bastard was not telling me straight up, that's good. Um,
Not anime, manga.
1992 was the first OVA.
1992.
It
Sounds
started
familiar.
as a one. It started as a one shot in Shonen Jump in 1987, and the series began serialization in 1988. And yeah, because it was shonen, that's probably the only reason why there's
Yeah.
none.
I mean,
But to be fair, there was a lot of stuff in the 80s and early 90s that was written that was more seinen, more mature, and they weren't explicitly hentai or ecchi series or anything like that, but there was a lot of nudity and sex in them. So a lot of like anime from a lot of hentai, a lot of OVA hentais, direct to video stuff back in the 80s and 90s were just dark fantasy series with sex in it. That's really all it was.
makes sense.
It wasn't the core focus. The dark fantasy was the core focus.
Yeah.
So that
It's
was a really popular thing back in the 80s and 90s. So it's only only proper that Bastard was like, this is how we introduce kids to it.
fucking right. I mean, they're already
got
well.
gotta keep we gotta keep them on that dark fantasy train as they get older, you know,
You gotta edge them in a little bit with
with the edginess.
yeah, with the edges. That's a good way to describe Bastard. It's edgy as fuck, but it's
Yeah. It's the edgy as fuck in terms of it was the 80s. Of course, it was edgy as fuck.
oh yeah,
Um, not edgy as in this is 16 and or I'm 16 and this is edgy, you know.
yeah, not hatred edgy.
Um, yeah. So other than that, like next season, like you got reincarnated as a slime getting another season. Mushoku Tensei is getting its second part for its second season. Of course, Kimetsu no Yaiba, Demon Slayer is getting its new season.
That reminds
Konosuba is
me.
getting another season. My Hero
I have to watch
Academia
the
is getting
anime for
another
that, or
season.
the movie for that.
Day Live is getting another season for the
Data
people that
Live.
care about that. Yeah, Data Live.
I Fun
It's
fact,
season 5. Season 5.
Rux. Fun
I don't know how I
facts.
got more than one.
Rux. Fun fact. You're speaking to a person that cares about that.
I know. I remember talking to you about that.
I gotta watch the fourth season still. I realized it came out at some point along with Goblin Slayer having a new season and everything. I'm like, damn, I haven't watched anime in a little while. But yeah,
um,
fucking from what I remember, the last season, season three of Data Live, I almost cried in.
Irregular at Magical High School is getting a third season. That's another one of those like it's got like a little bit of like possible incestuous relationship going on in it, but not really.
We pog for incest.
Incest is wincest, as they say.
For legal reasons, we do not pog for incest. That was a joke.
And depending on the state you're in, second at least as long as they're second cousins, you know, it's fine.
Incest
Slash ban.
laws.
I know there are some states that actually still have it okay for first cousins too. Let's pretend those laws don't exist.
What does this mean? God, why can't you just say, dude? Why can't I look up a law and it just says, bruh, if she's like the daughter of your like, if she's like the granddaughter of your great aunt, you're good to go, brother. Why can't I just say that?
um,
Oh,
there's another manga that's getting an adaptation as well, and it's Yozakura Family.
sorry. I think in Florida you might be able to, as long as it's not a direct line,
Yeah.
it's send it to the other. And it is a relationship in a great direct line, such as a father, son, and
What?
grandson.
Okay. So cousins, first cousins are essentially what that means.
I mean, the fucked up part is reading this. It seems like your sister is okay.
depend.
What the fuck, Florida? I don't have a
Well,
sister that.
direct line would be like, are they like directly descended
Oh,
uh
okay.
through your dad or mom or something like that?
So here it is. It's a lineal consanguinity, or brother, sister, uncle, aunt, nephew, or niece. So yeah, first cousins are a-okay in Florida.
Fun fact, after Boeing merged with whatever the fuck the name of that company was back in the 90s, I think. The first CEO of that merged company that became Boeing, I believe, was married to his first cousin.
Hmm,
So there you go.
nice. Also, apparently in Florida, sexual intercourse is only female penetration of the female sex organ by the male sex organ,
Sweet.
which means
You can fuck your
this
homies and it's not sex. Good.
you can fuck your dad and it's not incest.
Oh my
Thanks,
god.
Florida.
It's not rape if it, wait.
That's something else, but this might be the best way to segue into D&D, but I've been playing too much D&D that I almost
Goblin Slayer.
no. Um, I was going to type in 5E sodomy laws.
Okay.
I play so much D&D. I Google so many things for Dungeons and Dragons involving 5th edition. I just type in 5th edition something that sometimes I'll just type in 5th edition Rux or 5th edition sodomy laws instead of
As one does.
indeed. Um, oh, what's prohibited consensual sex? Sexual sodomy by a man. Oh, in Florida, apparently, sodomy laws designed to criminalize same-sex sexual conduct is unconstitutional. Yeah, in Florida, if you fuck your dad as a man, it's not considered incest because it's not considered sexual intercourse.
I'm sorry, what? um,
From but I'm looking at it.
well then that's how that works, Florida. Then again, I don't think Florida works. It's always to be fair, Florida is like the the one part of the country that always needs, something to help it out.
Yeah, it's kind of limp.
Little limp, maybe a little blue pill can help that
Imagine
out a bit.
what would be the geological effects of making Florida a
Depends on which way you want it to go.
Well, the panhandle is like the paint. It's a ballless.
Right. But are you talking about like is it going to shift or is it going to go like this?
Yeah, it's gonna go like this. As
It's
far as
no
I
longer going to be in danger of being flooded.
here, it's gonna shift along this way and that way. You know.
Go towards the northeast.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Not turn into a fucking mountain. It erected.
Oh God. I mean, if it did go up that way,
You wouldn't be in danger of hurricanes anymore.
I think we wouldn't be in danger of the flooding, but we would be in danger of the higher winds.
You'll be fine.
Except for at the very tip, they would
At the tip. Just the tip.
when Florida becomes a wreck, does it raise like in a Valheim where like the thing is connected, or is it gonna have like the full rock underneath it? The crust just kind of lift up with it. Because
I think
that would
the crust should lift up with it. That'd be fun.
think about how much the water level would sink because of that.
Imagine how much lava would just start flowing to the surface immediately.
No, it all turned to obsidian.
massive volcano opens up underneath
Rocks have just become
of
obsidian.
Florida.
Yeah. God. It would boil the Gulf a little bit.
Hopefully it
Jesus
happens during the
Christ.
winter so the Gulf is nice and warm.
It already is this warm in the winter, man.
It depends on where in the Gulf you're at.
Yeah.
I
Fuck
know the
me.
Gulf over when I lived in Houston, the Gulf over by Galveston tended to be a little cooler during the winter months. Not something you'd really want to swim in.
Yeah. I guess yeah, the water gets cool during the winter. It's just hot. Well, I guess this winter wasn't too bad. Last
And
couple of
it depends
months.
on where you're at, right? Because the way
Yeah.
that the actual like circulation of the waters in the Gulf go, I think it's usually pretty cool by the time it touches Texas during the winter and then warms back up during the spring summer.
Yeah. Makes sense. Ah, shit. So you can't even swim in the warm water of the Gulf when your power gets shut off and your governor's in Cancun. Anyways,
I wouldn't want to swim in the Gulf over by Texas, anyways.
I mean,
It's pretty nasty water over there.
listen, man. There's a beach nearby me, and it's literally just like a bunch of glass on the like. I remember growing up and my mother being like, You have to wear these shoes, otherwise you'll cut up your feet."
What isn't all sand glass, anyways? I
I mean,
mean,
I think it's more
yeah.
silicone than
Yep.
glass.
hmm You know what glass is made out of, right?
It's made out of glass. Stupid
Made out of
fuck.
silicon.
I know. They also, to get it to flatten, they put it on molten tin because the tin has a lower melting point, which is crazy to me.
Mhm.
Because if you were to take that and quench it in, they quench it in the tin because if you quench it in water, it would just instantly fucking shatter
Yep.
with times. Oh man, do you? I'm asking this one. I know the answer is no, but have you been playing D&D at all? Do you role play at all?
Uh, no.
Fair enough. That means that this episode we won't talk about D&D except for that one time that I mentioned I accidentally started typing in 5th edition sodomy laws. God. I hate that because like I get it. I Google shit for it like 500 times because I'm
Mm.
planning I fuck, I'm playing in 2 campaigns and I'm DMing 2 campaigns. One is my personal passion project. The other is yeah, I'll DM for you guys. Don't worry.
How it works.
Yeah. Oh, Potato has a couple friends that are like, yeah, I like to. I think it's like they wanted to get a D&D, and they're like, yeah, I think now's a good time to do it. I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll run a D&D campaign for you guys. Gave them a nice little. I gave them prompts to choose. Would you like to hear my prompts?
Mm. Sure.
Let me get them up. Much like Florida got it up, if you know. Dungeons and Dragons IRL campaign. Story pitches. So I gave them the pitches of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I gave them 5 pitches. The first one was titled Academy. This is basically when I thought about it. It was I thought about it in mind of Fire Emblem, the newer like Three Houses
hmm
style. Um, Potato thought of it as Wizard 101 and some cringe shit, which fair enough. The idea would be like the first 5 levels they'd be in the school, and then they would graduate at some point when they finally, basically when they like got a grasp of how the game worked, they'd like graduate and proper campaign with a school to back them up. They could also be like, yeah, I think we all spent like a year or two as a teacher there because we graduated. Uh, I think a few picked that. I offered, yes, this one, the generic campaign. You start in an inn and there's a shitty guy in the corner campaign. Uh, the third one was the Chosen Ones, which when I made this, I actually thought of Fallout 1 instead, or Fallout 2, where it's not so much you're the chosen ones of God, but you're the chosen ones of the village that you're from, sent to go out to save the village, basically.
Mm.
Not so much like prophecy says you do this, but like you drew the short straws, go out into the world that's we don't really look at anymore. Uh, Fourth one was the dungeon, which was kind of my favorite, which is basically Diablo 1, where you're in a town, there's a gigantic dungeon underneath it, go raid it, maybe you'll die. And then the fifth one, which they all basically decided was The Hobbit, where I start them off over here on the map, and they need to go over here on the map.
Right.
And it's a long journey. So at the moment, they finally reached the island, but I've been kind of looking at other things and just kind of like, kind of, fuck it out, like half-assing some of it. So one of their first things was when they got to the new landmass, they looked for a job, and I literally looked up a job board generator thing because why not? There's one that said rat infestation. Roll 4d10 rats, 2d 2d4 dire rats. Now there's no such thing as dire rat in 5th edition. Previous editions, yeah. Um, so what I did was I rolled the dice, rolled maximum on the dire rats, and rolled like 24 normal rats. So they are going through a house to fight 24 giant rats and 8 bears that are rat skinned.
Yeah, they're just bears. Yep.
Yeah, they're the bear stat block, but they're fighting dire rats.
The big
One
old
of
wooden
them,
bears.
yeah, for 450 gold, they're doing this thing. One of them talks so much shit going into this and got humbled the fuck up real quick.
Yeah, I got this. Ah!
No, more like, oh, your husband got killed by rats. They were pretty shit then. It's like, Jesus Christ. To which a giant rat proceeded to maul their face.
This was a gift from God.
Basically. Also, every single time we play, I critically strike Potato somehow. And she gives me a look of. She.
Why?
No, not why, more like, I'm going to shit in your bed like Amber Heard.
I'm gonna piss on your bed.
Yeah, like you're not going to be touched for a month. She's like, Jesus Christ. But there, we did our D&D talk for a second. No, I know you haven't been playing anything like that, at least.
No, just I haven't really felt like playing very many things at all, really. Like I started playing I do play like a game of Balatro like once every other day or so. Just
Oh
that
yeah.
poker roguelike game that just came
Yeah.
out.
You told me about
Um
that.
the uh the developer, he just started making it kind of for him and his friends. Just, he
Mhm.
was bored, wanted to do something other than his job.
Didn't like poker.
Um doesn't like poker, doesn't play poker, hadn't even played a deck builder game before. Literally went and picked up Slay the Spire just to figure out
It
how
worked.
controls on a controller work. Um, and then that's that's all. Like, had again just doesn't like poker, doesn't play poker, doesn't know anything about building deck builders, and somehow it ended up being like one of the best deck builder games that have come out in quite a long time. I know that
Man,
he's sold over 500,000 copies now at $15 a piece. Yeah,
500,000-ish.
500,000 copies.
Damn, that's like $1 million.
That's over a million at this point now.
That's at least $5.
Yeah, give or take a couple million.
Yeah, damn. So I got distracted for a second there because Grocery Store Simulator was a game on Steam. But I just finally organically for the first time saw Limbus Company on Steam. Do you know anything about that?
Nope, I have not
No?
heard of that one.
Holy shit. There's a company out there called, a developer called Project Moon. They had a game called Lobotomy Corporation, which is basically you are managing an SCP foundation. Um, they then made a game where, in the same universe, it's a card game, and then they had the Limbus Company game, but it's a fucking wild ride with their lore. Holy shit.
Mm.
I don't know how else to describe it other than it's a wild fucking ride. I got sucked into it a while back, but didn't play any of the games.
Hmm. Yeah, just yeah, that's basically all I've been doing. Is just I play like a game of Blatcher once in a while. I play Fortnite with Kiwi Kachi when he
Who's
streams
that?
most of the time. Um, Other than that, like basically just I'll find something that I want to do when I'm bored sometimes. Just like
You know, I'm something. Marks? God. Oh, somebody. I've been playing on Samical's server for a little bit. He has all the mods 9 up on it.
Hmm.
I got DM'd earlier by somebody on it asking me, "Can I come see your base?" And I'm like, "I'm AFK, but fuck it. If you want to go to it, sure." But shit, fucking. I actually fucked up and didn't upload the last episode of the podcast to anything because I've just been sucked into that.
Ah,
Reminds me, I really want to play Moxie. It's been a while. Is there anything that you've been like, damn, I can't wait to play?
can't think of anything off the top of my head. It's been kind of once in a while there's a game that's coming out or whatever. I'll be like, yeah, I'll pick it up.
Fair enough. I know this year there's been a shit ton of like good games that came out, which is kind of nice because I don't remember when was the last time that a good game came out.
It depends on what you consider a good game.
Yeah, well, what I mean is like a game that
There's been a lot of good games that have come out in like a consistent like amount of time. Especially beginning of the year. Like there's rarely ever a time when like January and February has a lot of good releases. And there's been
yeah,
a lot of good releases.
I guess what I mean is like a AAA game that's considered good, I guess. Because there's
There's
a
been a
bunch of
AAA game
good.
in 10 years that's good.
I mean, I thought Borderlands 3 was pretty good.
Was it? It was okay.
You had a lot of fun with it.
I don't think it was as good as Borderlands 1 or 2.
I think that the gameplay was a lot better in Borderlands 3 than 2.
Quality of life was better, yeah.
Like, how guns felt too, because in Borderlands 2,
But
80% of the
story was
guns
kind of bad.
Borderlands 3 story. I mean the DLC stories are pretty great, but the main game story, if they if they took out the Calypso twins, I think I would have enjoyed this story a lot more. I liked all the
Mm.
I like
Yeah, they tried leaning way too heavy into the streamer
streamer.
personality thing. It was like,
Yeah. It felt 3 times cringe because we were streamers at that time.
yeah,
It it was just like, so you're just shitting on me, game. Thanks. To be fair, I mean neither of us are that type of streamer personality when we did stream or are streaming.
yeah. It's just, I think it's more annoying whenever a developer goes, you know what would be funny? Let's pick fun at at these stereotypes that we know have no idea about. It's like,
Please don't.
yep, you guys did this really badly.
Yeah. Oh man, like we didn't play the Krieg DLC together. From what I remember, we just played the Lovecraftian gay marriage one, and hold on, what was the other expansion DLC store page? Because there was the Krieg one that we didn't play because I don't think it came out yet, and then there was what does this come with? The Moxie Heist. I think we played the Moxie Heist and the Guns, Love, and Tentacles.
That sounds about right. Yep.
I thought both of those were real. Like both of those had pretty good stories throughout it. I had a lot of fun.
I don't know if we ever actually finished Guns, Love, and Tentacles together.
I specifically remember me asking you if I can be the one that marries the two of them. Yeah,
No idea. Can't remember. Been it's been quite a bit now since that happened. I think it's been almost 2 years.
yeah. Me and Potato ended up playing it all together again. My build was still broken as shit. Did play as Flack though with her, which is a fun change.
Mm.
But shit, games from the last 10 years that I thought was good. I think Grim Dawn technically is inside of that, but that's not AAA. Uh, I can't really count Cyberpunk because when it came out, it sucked.
Technically an indie game.
Hmm? Oh yeah, technically it
It's
is an indie game. Yeah, you're right. Baldur's Gate 3 is also an indie game.
it's actually kind of making my point for me though. There's
Yeah,
a lot more not AAA games that were way better than the
yeah.
AAA games
I
over the
mean,
last 10 years.
at the same point, like that's the thing is that nobody is going to say, like by definition, Baldur's Gate 3 is an indie game. I will always stand by the definition of what an indie game is, which technically means World of Warcraft is an indie game. Uh, or was Activision? No, they merged.
Activision Blizzard was a merger, yeah.
Yeah, so they are a nice small indie company. Good old
No,
Activision.
it's more than just like a single developer. There's other things that kind of you need to keep in mind.
Yeah, the definition of indie game basically is that they are a self-published game.
It's also a lack of like financial and technical support, which somebody like Activision Blizzard has a plethora of financial and technical support.
Hmm.
Because it basically comes down like, are you being helped out by a large publisher? Basically, what it comes down.
Yeah,
Um, and even though like if you're talking like purely from a development point of view, yeah, they self-publish their game, but they are a big publisher in and of themselves.
yeah,
So they have all the funding and technical support and everything that they need to make sure that it's a good game, and that's what makes well, good game, and that's
yeah,
what makes it fundamentally not an indie game.
yeah.
When it comes to like World of Warcraft and that kind of stuff, but
Most people
you
will
still
think,
have you still have something like Cyberpunk 2077. They were fully they were fully self-published, but also fully self-funded as well. So they didn't
yeah,
have any external financial support and technical support, um, like something like Call of Duty or something like
Battlefield.
Battlefield or anything like that.
Yeah,
Baldur's Gate 3, the same thing. You know, Larian, they self-publish. They build everything off of their own financial gains.
yeah. It's funny because most people won't think of those two as an indie game. They'll think
Yeah, I mean
AAA.
they're massive games.
Yeah,
Um, but that's only those games are only massive and as good as they are because they are indie games. Like I think if it was like if Blizzard owned Larian, for instance, there would have been a lot of changes to it. It would have been a shorter game. There would have been a lot different about something like
yeah.
Baldur's Gate 3
I
if
mean,
Larian didn't have 100% of the safe show of everything that went.
honestly, I would probably assume that would have never been
It
made.
also would have been a half baked game to begin with.
Or, like I said, not even made.
It would have been one. It wouldn't have even been one act long.
Hey, to be fair, Diablo 4 did take 12 hours to beat.
How much of that was because the story was long versus it just being just a ridiculously hard game to navigate?
Funnily enough,
It takes you
because,
way longer to move around places than it does
yeah, but funnily enough,
than needs to.
to be fair, I had a horse in it, but for the rogue playthrough, because I played through on every single class for Diablo 4, except for Druid. I didn't get around to Druid before they completely redid it, and all my notes about how the game felt went out the window when they completely fucked all the balancing up with that one very infamous pass, which required me then to completely cut 80% of that script out and just upload a fucking story review. Uh, I decided, fuck it. I'm not gonna bother with Druid. I'm just gonna touch into it and see how it feels. Oh wow, they just did this. Yeah, fuck it. Here's the story thing. I played as a rogue, and
Right.
yeah, the game expects you to do some grinding because as soon as you hit Act 5, everything is like level 40, and I was level 20. I just beat Dario like 10 levels ahead of me, and I realized, wow, everything's easy as shit. But I want to say it took me a good like probably 4 or 5 hours of rushing the story, to be honest.
Right. Right.
And that's
It's
as a rogue when it was the most broken fucking class in the entire game.
yeah. It's really kind of like I don't know. I think it's really just kind of like Blizzard knows how to make good games. They don't do it as often as they could.
I would say the people that used to work at Blizzard know how to make really good games, and the people that they've been hiring to replace all the senior devs that didn't want to deal with the drama don't really know.
That's probably more accurate.
Yeah. They're the ship of the Aesius in the worst way. Did I ever tell you about how about old Blizzard's name?
Oh,
Silicon
yeah.
Synopsis, I believe.
I know about the story of their name. It's been a while since I've
Yeah.
actually looked into that.
So I believe one of the founding fathers of Blizzard basically was concerned that people would basically view their name as having something to do with breast implants. So they looked at the dictionary and everything. One of the first ones that they found that they liked was Blizzard, but they found a lot of other names. Actually, wait, no, sorry. They changed their name to something else, but there's another company that had it, and that company was like,
Nah,
"Pay us a
bitch.
$100,000 and you can have it." And they're like, "Okay, we're changing our name." Uh, they basically changed their name, I think, 4 times, and the fourth time was Blizzard. Let's see. Oh, they were going to be Chaos Technologies, or not Chaos
Yeah.
Technologies, Chaos Studios, but then a Florida company named Chaos Technologies wanted them to pay $100,000. Uh, Basically, they went with the legal check, or not the legal, but the name Blizzard Entertainment. It's very ironic that they're now known for breast milk stealing. I wonder how that guy is viewing things these days. Just I read through the I went through all this shit to not be associated with breast implants. Now that companies now everybody just views them as the breast milk guys. Great.
Yeah, just a little weird.
Jesus Christ. I don't know how I feel about Blizzard, to be honest. The only thing that I liked about Blizzard at the time, like a while back, was Diablo, like when they were coming out with it. And that technically was through a Blizzard North, which, yeah, they were technically affiliated with Blizzard, but their story was that Synopsis, or Silicon Synopsis, let me double check that really quick here. Blizzard. They. Silicon and Synopsis, yeah. So basically, Blizzard Entertainment, which I believe Blizzard North, they were their own company. Uh, and both of them, I think, were working on the same game but for different consoles. It's a very weird
Hmm.
thing where they both were told to make this game with this style, but they both were kind of doing things, and they realized that they were making theirs quite similarly, and they became friends through that.
Right.
Warcraft was being made, and Blizzard North was like, "Yeah, we got this little game called Diablo that we're thinking of." Uh, they were kind of they didn't like the RPG idea of with like all the storytelling, and they just wanted you to immediately get into a dungeon crawl basically and find loot. Uh,
Right.
but they used to be called Condor, and
Mm, right.
they basically Silicon Synopsis and Condor kind of merged, but were like they're more partnered slash merged, I guess. Where Blizzard North had full autonomy, like they could do whatever they wanted, basically.
Right.
Uh, So like, yeah, technically speaking, the games that I liked were from a sub company that basically was just an act like a merge thing, but they were separate until they just got rid of Blizzard North. Like, I mean, I played World of Warcraft, but I wasn't one of those people that were like, I need to log in, I need to do my rating today.
Right.
It was just an MMO. Cool, I get to run around the world and explore things. I never once had a full attachment to it though. I like how I went through a lot of that thing and I forgot the original point halfway through that. Which was yeah, I don't really care. I haven't like cared too much about Blizzard games. Like I liked
Right.
Warcraft 3 growing up. That was pretty bitchin', but I didn't really feel much for WoW because like I said, I was an EverQuest nerd.
Yeah. Yeah. First MMO I played was World of Warcraft, so it's a little bit different. Right? So I
Man.
started playing that right out of high school.
Hmm. That was about the time I started playing World of Warcraft. Was in high school when Cataclysm launched. Wish I
I started playing right before Cataclysm.
hmm. I thought Cataclysm was really cool because it felt like my player character was in a slightly epic storyline, but I was also playing undead, and they kind of had a really cool storyline from what I remember. But like EverQuest 2, you're an adventurer. EverQuest 1, you're an adventurer. There's no like gotta save the world or like this crazy war thing is happening. It's hero. I need 5 null scrotums. Can you collect them for me? Like, hell yeah, brother, I can collect you these null scrotums.
Yeah.
Shit. Yeah, it was EverQuest 2. I played Guild Wars growing up too. The
I had a
account
friend of mine that was really into Guild Wars. Went over to his place a few times when I was a senior in high school. He had all the physical collection, uh, the Guild Wars and all of its expansions on his shelf.
I did have the same thing before I got rid of that shelf. I currently have them all in a bin, like a storage bin. Unfortunately, I don't have a box for either North, but it's fine.
Just had it all just lined up there. Trying to remember other stuff that he used to play. He was into like the Total War franchise of games as well. Total War and uh what was the trying to remember the name of that those games. It was
What
like a
did he do in them?
hack and slash samurai game. I can't think of the name of it off
Hack
the
and
top of my head
slash
right now.
samurai game. It's definitely not Shadow Warrior.
So it was like PlayStation 2 and into the PlayStation 3 era.
It's not like you're not talking about like Samurai Warriors or anything, are you?
It might have been or not
Was it like Dynasty Warriors?
Dynasty Warriors is what he'd play.
Ah,
He was into Dynasty Warriors a lot too.
oh man, I remember a little bit of Dynasty Warriors making a. I forget which one it was, but me and the boy, because I only had one boy as part of my boys growing up, so it's just me and the boy. We would make random characters in Dynasty Warriors and run around and enjoy them. You level up weapons and shit going through like the campaign. It was
Mhm.
crazy. No fucking
I
clue what was going on.
I remember it was Dynasty Warriors 3 on PlayStation 2. I had a PlayStation demo disc with it. Constantly just play the demo over and over and over again.
Oh, actually, wait. No, it wasn't Dynasty Warriors.
Dynasty Warriors was kind of it was just Warring Kingdom era China. This is basically what it was based on. You had Lu Bu and all them fun
with a little bit of sword mythology thrown in, since there was
Yeah.
some light magic like sort of shit with that.
As because I think of
Dynasty
the book.
Warriors 4 is what I played the shit out of. That's what it was.
Mm.
Back on the Xbox.
I think PlayStation 2. It was Dynasty Warrior 3. I had on. It was a demo disc. I had a PlayStation 2 demo disc. I had a bunch of just random stuff on there, and one of them was Dynasty Warriors 3. You got to do the first campaign. You just got to do the first campaign over again.
Now this might get me in trouble with federal agents, but I had a cracked Xbox back in the day. So yeah, I had a bunch of pirate games growing up.
And you could have been like somebody I knew growing up that just stole his console, like everything that he owned from the local Walmart.
I knew a
I don't know
guy.
how the hell he got out of a fucking Walmart with a full on Xbox, but he did.
That's fucking crazy. That's a lot more crazy than a guy that I knew that would go into Best Buy and just pick things
He
off
didn't
the
end up
shelf.
getting kicked out of that Walmart until after he had, I think he had at that point had like 30 games. I was like, how the hell did you get an Xbox and 30 games before you were finally caught and kicked out? And they didn't even like apparently they didn't know he stole the Xbox because they never brought him to court or anything over it.
What year was this?
This was like late 2000s,
Late.
probably like
Yeah.
2008, 2009.
Oh man, shit was crazy back in those days. Fuck man. Yeah, no.
It
All
was
I
the only thing that we really had where I lived was just a Walmart. This is in the middle of fucking nowhere, basically.
damn. I still refer to a plaza as the plaza with the old Walmart in it. Nobody
To
fucking
to
knows
give
what
you
I'm
an idea
talking
on
about.
how small this town I lived in was, we had a Walmart and our shopping our little like outdoor little shopping mall area. It
Mhm.
had a grocery store and some like hole in the wall restaurants and that kind of stuff. We didn't have GameStop. We didn't have any of that. We had three different pizza joints, and that was pretty much it.
And probably a McDonald's.
McDonald's, Burger King,
Yeah.
Dairy Queen.
God. A core memory just entered into my head. So on these pirated demo, like these pirated discs, generally because you would, when you cracked your Xbox, you would also replace the disc drive with like a DVD drive or something,
Hmm.
and you would get basically three games on these things. I remember one of which was there was a Dungeons and Dragons game, which I think it was Dark Alliance,
Okay.
not or not Dark Alliance. Dark Alliance is the one that came out recently. It was kind of shit. Uh, I think it was Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance was what it was. Let me see.
I
No,
remember.
it. Yes, Dark Alliance. That one. Hold on. Core memories, please. It's on Steam. I remember. Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance. Yes. So it had that on it. It had some other game, and then it had BMXXX on it.
Hmm.
I wasn't allowed to touch that one, but fucking, it was a Michael Jackson fucking song that was covered by Alien Ant Farm for some reason on every one of those fucking discs. Yeah,
Alrighty then.
there was like a menu where you would select the game. That shit was wild. But that's basically where most of my games came from growing up. I also had Now Nintendo don't come after me for this, but I had emulations on it of Mario games. I think I still have that Xbox somewhere. I wonder if it would still work.
It should. Usually consoles last for a very long time. It's usually just the lasers that go out on them for the discs.
Yeah. Huh.
There's other mods that have come out for Xbox since too, so
Yeah.
you can load up an SSD and an Xbox 360 and load up all your games on an SSD and just play it right off of that.
Damn. That shit's kind of crazy these days.
You can do that with a PlayStation 2. Put an SSD in your PlayStation 2 and just boot everything from an SSD.
Shit, man. How many games could you hold on that 500 gigabyte SSD?
A lot.
Well, games back then were like half a gig.
Yeah. No, closer to probably around a gig. They did use DVDs, so
Yeah. I guess earlier on it was they did have the fucking half gigs or not half gigs, just normal CDs. But I really want to play Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance again. The only issue is that it's $30.
hmm
Fuck, man, that shit was crazy. It's funny because like I had already played Diablo, so like having a game that was like Diablo Light on a console still was just like, oh, wow.
right.
Potato's been telling people that we only play games that are like that are old. I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean they're old? Um, let's see here.
Definitely get her into Age of Mythology then.
I got her into Diablo, which is great. I mean, she played the God of War games. That's one of her like favorite games that she grew up with. She played like GTA games and whatnot, but I got her into Diablo. Well, I got her into Diablo 2 and Dungeon Siege. Uh, we both she liked them. The only issue with Diablo is that she gets sleepy after about 30 minutes.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. She's been liking some Grim Dawn, but also she gets tired in that game, which is unfortunate, but yeah, I don't know if Age of Mythology would she'd get into that. What is the weirdest game that I got her into? Let's find that out.
Honey Pop.
She doesn't like those types of games. Let's see here. I haven't really gotten her into any weirder games. Like I got her into Terraria. She likes that now. To the point now she watches Waffle Time. Got her into Project Zomboid, which is kind of crazy. You wouldn't think that complex zombie survival is a game that most people would get into after playing it for like a few minutes
Right.
as like their first like super complicated game. Oh, so yeah, I guess old games is Minecraft, Terraria, Stardew Valley, the original Ark, Deep Rock, Grim Dawn, and Diablo.
No. No idea.
Yeah. To be fair, we've just been playing Minecraft lately. So, Rux, how would you rate your podcasting experience? Do you feel like we talked a good amount of
I think we talked pretty good.
Yeah.
I try to talk pretty good.
We've been talking for 2 hours. You want to make this a 5 hour upload of Spotify? Oh man. It feels weird just being like you went into here because I feel like we keep talking. But I do try to cut it off at 2 hours. Was there anything
Yeah.
else you wanted to bring up or anything?
No, nothing I can think of.
No. No urethra removal.
No urethra removal. Didn't need one of those.
What were you gonna say before I said that?
Oh, that's good.
That's good. You
That's
don't
good.
plug anything? You can plug Kiwi if you want. Even
I
though,
mean, he's streaming, you know.
he does stream occasionally. He also messages me the day before. To be honest, he swears that the last time we played Minecraft, he told me. I don't remember that, but he could have said that he did. Whenever I play vanilla Minecraft or stream a game, I tend to zone out a lot. And
Right.
I think I said something about that when we played too. Because you joined in on the last stream, and I was just like, classic thing, somebody says something while you're playing or streaming something, and you just go, yeah, response, and then you're just like, God, I hope that wasn't a question. Yeah, he literally DM'd me like yesterday, or not yesterday, the ninth.
That was
Yeah.
yesterday.
Oh yeah, it's 12 a.m. right now. I forgot how time works. So I asked you if you wanted to be on the podcast at 2:03. He DM'd me at 2:18. I already told you I couldn't do the podcast this Sunday, yes? I'm like, no? And then you didn't respond for a while, so I was like, I'm
I
just gonna
saw the
cancel it.
message. I saw the message, and I was just tired.
I
And
get
I was
it.
like, I'll respond later when I'm at my computer instead of just from my phone. And then it's the whole thing where it was red. So
Yeah.
I didn't realize that I got that message on Discord until a little while later. I'm like, oh yeah, he sent that message to me. I should respond.
And then I woke up to take my girlfriend to work. I'm like, oh, he did respond. I was just thinking about skipping it, and you're like, let me come in. I'll do it anyways. I'm like, shit, alright, fuck it. And then you told me at 3 p.m., and I went, alright, at 3 p.m., fantastic. Sat down at 3 p.m., I'm like, damn. And I'm like, oh, let me double check something. Daylight savings isn't a thing in Oregon, so he
No.
just means 4 my time. And then, five, I want to say around like 4:30 hits, and I'm like, Potato wants to make pizza for dinner, and I want to
I
get like
literally woke up like a
everything.
half an hour before 3 p.m. my time. I was like, yep, I'm good.
Yeah, I after like a little bit of time, I'm like, time zones are a thing. He meant his 3 p.m., which is like my 6. Crazy how that works. Time is an illusion, chat.
Time doesn't exist.
Oh man, but it was fine.
It can't hurt you.
Yeah, so I canceled with you because I was gonna make pizza and hang out with my girlfriend since we have some alone time, which was nice. And I had a great idea. He's 3 hours ahead of me and has the degenerate sleep schedule like I do. We can make this work by waiting until my girlfriend sleeps and do a
I
podcast at 10 p.m. my time, which is like noon your time.
don't think that's how time works, but
Something. Listen, I can say one thing. You got 26 minutes in your time at the moment.
5 o'clock somewhere.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Anyways, I actually enjoyed this one. It was nice to have you around. So you were always supposed to be a guest at some point. I've just been trying to find people that actively stream or make something. Really, try to get them on first before I start looking at other people. But unfortunately, I only know like two or three people that do things anymore.
Yeah, just for me, like I can't get myself to like actually sit down and focus on doing a stream on like a schedule or anything. It's just
I get it. You ever feel like just streaming though?
really not any.
Um, that's fair enough.
I'm just too tired all the time. Can't focus on that.
I get you. I remember I tried streaming me making a video and Papa popped in and was like, "You sound really fucking tired." I'm like, I feel like I
Yeah.
have been all the time. Does that just mean I'm tired all the time?
I'm constantly fatigued. I don't sleep very well anymore.
Uh, It sucks that my schedule is that I stay awake until Potato goes to work at 5 a.m. and then I go to sleep and then wake up just in time to go pick her up from work. And
I
I
hate
feel tired all the fucking time. And then you get in bed and you're just like,
5 hours later.
yeah. I mean, sometimes Potato gives me the strong grip and I can't escape and I pass out, which is nice. What really sucks is that I wake up
Just
sometimes 2 or 3 hours
headlocks
later.
you and and you pass out from oxygen deprivation.
No, more so as I'm like laying like this and she's like full on around me, head on me, unable to move. Sometimes when I need to get up, I'll be like this and she'll either double down and choke me the fuck out or not. But what happens 50% of the time is I will pass out without the sleep mask on because she likes having LEDs up that have a little bit of light in the room. I need like no light, so I have a sleep mask. But sometimes I don't put it on and I just pass out normally, like a dad on Christmas morning, um, or a dad in general when he decides to do something recreational. But
Yeah, yeah.
and I wake
I
up
can
2 hours
sleep.
later.
I can sleep in broad daylight. I can sleep in pitch black. It doesn't really matter to me. It's just sleep just hasn't been a thing for me in the last few years. It's been getting worse.
Yeah,
I need a doctor.
I hear trips to Germany are kind of cheap sometimes.
Now you can go to Japan. You can go to Japan for 2 weeks on $1,000.
I literally looked at prices because I have a tooth right here that is like 80% filling, and one of the
Mhm.
dentists like my last dentist appointments with insurance was like, um, I would recommend a crown for that, but as long as you don't chew on it, you should be fine. Which is a nice thing for a dentist to say instead of yeah, you need a
As long as you
crown.
don't use that thing.
Yeah, it's like just try chewing on the other side more often, like for like your thing instead.
I
Uh,
think you don't understand how food moving in your mouth works.
you understand how OCD it is, where I need to chew an equal amount for every single side of my mouth. I don't know. there's little things that I have that just are like I probably have OCD like that where it's like I need to have an equal amount of chews for all of my food, otherwise I feel bad.
You gotta wear out those teeth evenly, you know.
Yeah, it's as a
You
kid
gotta be one
like
of those fossils they pluck out of the ground in 1,000 years where they can tell exactly what kind of food you ate because it's even wear
oh
across the
god.
jaw.
As a child, I had to take both my toes and cross them in my shoes for some reason. I don't know why. I needed them to be. There was like a count that my brain didn't know, but I needed to do it a certain amount of times. And there was like a ratio that needed to be achieved that my brain wasn't telling me, but I just needed that. I had to breathe in. Like there were moments where I was like breathing and I had to like stick my thumbs out while I was breathing in and out. Shit like that. And it's just those types of moments that make me think, did I have OCD? Was that like my compulsion of needing to do that shit? Rox, can you diagnose me, please? You're just sitting there thinking, you said like 10 minutes ago we should end the podcast, and we still haven't. You know what? I think that's a good thing to end it on. Is
And
do I have OCD? Should I be
I'm
diagnosed
I'm
with
I'm
it?
just down here just being like fiddly with my fingers, playing with things.
I'll show what I'm fiddling around with.
But my
However,
my ADHD is just like, yes, I hear everything you're saying right now. Yep.
it's it's fine. We've done that to each other once or twice at least. Sometimes you've gone really in depth into something technical, and I don't have the heart to tell you that
I don't
I
give a
don't remember the
shit.
context. Well, it's more like I didn't understand the context from 10 minutes ago. And now you're saying something about it. I'm like, fuck. I was like,
I was
I was
I was in
making
a
a penis in
conversation on LinkedIn.
Minecraft.
I was in a I did a thing on I did a post on LinkedIn. It was just basically like one of the best ways to learn something is to teach it. Um, do you agree or not? And I had some pretty good responses on there, but one of them was like, one of them was kind of agreeing with me and all that.
Mhm.
And my response to it was just like, yes, more or less how my mind works about it. That's kind of the approach that I took with that message. Because some other people were thinking that you don't have to actually know the content very well to be able to teach it, blah blah blah, that kind of stuff. Or
Somewhat,
there's
yeah.
people that will like learn just the bare necessity to teach it, but they won't actually learn how to properly relay the information to somebody
Yeah.
so they truly understand.
I mean, I've learned a few
But
things where I'm
the
also good.
idea that I had was more like if you can if you can learn it to a point where you can like explain it like you can explain to someone like they're a 5 year,
Hmm.
then you're probably pretty good with the ability the knowledge on that thing.
Yeah.
And my response to it, my response to that person's response to my question was along the lines of s- uh sometimes, to truly test whether or not I know something, um my favorite way to gauge that is to teach it to somebody or to explain it to somebody.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that my roommate probably knows way more about cybersecurity than he was ever interested in knowing because of it.
Understandable. Now, if I was your roommate, I have a thing where if somebody's I figured this out recently. Probably would have been great to figure out when I was in school. Maybe I would have cared more in school and actually liked school. But if somebody is telling me something, I don't hold on to the information very well. If I'm reading something that information sticks. It's why, like, whenever me and you play an ARPG or something and you read off an item, I say, just link it, please. I need to read it to be able to comprehend it sometimes.
Yeah, I think when it comes to something like that, it really kind of just depends on the teacher.
Yeah.
Some teachers can't explain things worth a shit, and then I go and read like two sentences from a book, and it's like, oh shit, I know what this is about now.
Yeah. I remember in high school, towards the end of the year. So, one, insomnia started really being a bitch. To be fair, I've kind of always had some level of insomnia. Like, as a child, I remember trying being put into bed at 8 p.m. or something. And what I would do is I'd close my eyes, and then without doing anything, my eyes would just open up on their own,
Hmm.
just subconsciously open. And I would just sit in there for like 2 hours. Or, as I said, you ever get sent to a daycare?
Yeah, yeah. There was a daycare across the street from me.
Did they make you go outside and then nap time right after?
I don't remember the exact order of things, but nap time. Rub my
Because
belly, make me go to sleep.
because we'd play inside a little bit at first, and then we would go outside, and then they would say, "Sleep in the mats, go to sleep, nap time," and everyone else would be there. I'm like, "What the fuck? I'm not tired. What the fuck?"
Yeah, I always found that kind of weird. Every child naps, right?
No,
Every single one of them. The
some bullshit.
I think the one that the daycare it was after lunch. You'd have the nap. You'd eat and then nap.
That's a good way to do things. A lot of times there,
Everybody's fucking tired after. Doesn't matter how old or young you are. You eat something, you're ready to just die.
it depends because I ate half a pizza before coming in here and just enjoying myself. And also, I don't think you. This never shows up on the stream, but sometimes when I'm streaming this, Discord glitches out to where the frames kind of lag around and bounce around a bit. And you see that llama that's hanging up right there, that stuffed animal?
Hmm.
I looked over and it's doing this. Like literally like a fucking demon in the background, like, yes, glory be upon you, my dark lord. Oh, it's doing it again. It's possessed. Oh man, but yeah, fucking 12th grade math. For some reason, that was the grade where I stopped being able to comprehend math. With because I coasted through my entire school life not doing homework and getting extremely high test grades.
Yeah, I was a really good I had really good grades up until I was in high school, and then I don't know if it was the teachers or something else.
It's not so much that I had good grades. I basically would get C's and D's, depending, but I would get these like pretty good test scores. It's just
I
that
was a
test
straight
what
A
it
student
has.
until I went into high school. So
Damn.
and then I the year I graduated I had two Fs.
Damn.
So
Yeah, listen, if Skyrim skill ups were a thing, my last couple of days in high school before I graduated, you would have seen speech being increased by so much just because of Helmet. I went up to like a lot of my teachers and said, "Hey, do you think you just bump my grade up a little bit?" And they're just like, "For you, yeah, I can. No problem."
mine was
You
probably luck. The luck stat.
Oh man. I fucking I just hated doing homework so fucking much. I had a teacher that said that I could do honors classes if I applied myself, but I probably shouldn't go into honored classes or AP
My
classes.
math teacher never said that in my senior year because she hated me.
This is in middle
I took
school.
advantage. I took advantage of our trigonometry teacher's uh syllabus, her like how she weights the grades
Hmm.
because the way she had it set up, you could literally like pass everything and not do any of the homework and you'd come out with a B. The way she had her grade stuff set up. I took advantage of that. I just didn't do my homework. And then halfway through the semester, she's like, "You have a B. The student that's been doing everything but kind of just not doing great on the test has a C." No. So she changed it so that the homework was a higher portion of the grade, and it was like, "Thanks for that."
Damn, that's some
Kind of
shit,
shitty.
man. Yeah.
You don't just change your syllabus. You make the changes after the class. You don't make it halfway through the. You don't make a change halfway through the course. You do that in college, and
Yeah.
you're grilled.
Yeah. I had environmental science in high school, and I graduated that with a perfect 100. Do you want to know why?
Because you did everything that you were supposed to do in class, right?
No, because the teacher didn't put in a single grade for anybody and had an emotional breakdown halfway through
Oh
the
my
school
god.
year. She was fucking crazy. She like bought like like 8 laptops for the class of her own money. Would throw pizza parties every single week. It's very unfortunate that uh, probably a few children just fucking was ruthless against her. But also at the same time, like she quit. Like I don't know if she quit or was
Right.
fired, but like at the same time, she didn't put in a single grade the entire time. Holy shit. Well, I'll do one more high school story, and this is just kind of my proud moment. But there's a
I
credit
just realized I
recovery.
was ADHD enough to like clip most of my fingernails except for two fingers.
That's your coke fingers.
I was like, wait, I cut my fingers earlier. Why are these two still long? It's like, oh, I didn't clip two of my fingernails.
Oh man, I think it's the pinky that you
Oh my
have for the
god.
cracked nail or the coke nail. But my proudest moment in high school was when I there's a credit recovery class that was based on you write a few things and you took a test and it was very ASCII like terminal style. But I completely made up second year English in a day. That was fantastic. I made up so many credits in that apparently I overdid it with credits. I think I had an extra credit somehow because of it. It was weird. Yeah. Oh no. No. I don't know. But fuck it. You want to keep talking after the podcast? Just chill. That way we can just end this. It seems like we're both talkative.
I'm getting tired.
You're getting tired. Okay. Would you like to say goodbye to the podcast? Oh shit, I missed Papa subbing, but thank you. I have notifications and shit turned off for this. I try to make it so that way the whole experience is pretty just isolated instead of having to deal with chat. But yeah,
Did you hear that, chat? He hates you.
yeah, I hate you. It's because you all tell me to play Terraria, and then when I play Terraria, I never show up, or nobody shows up. The
Nobody
amount of
shows up to tell me to show up to play to show.
that's kind of true though. I get a lot of I've gotten DMs being like, man, I miss your Terraria playthroughs and things, and it's like I literally streamed Terraria yesterday and you weren't here. I've been actively streaming it for the last 3 months. What the fuck?
Yeah.
But get yourself some sleep, Papa. That's my chat read. We'll end it. Surprisingly, Rux on the CTV. Pretty decent streaming quality.
Yeah.
Any closing statements? And anything you want to say to Spotify, I guess? Did you? I completely threw this on to you without telling you that I upload this to Spotify and YouTube.
Yeah, you said that at the beginning of the podcast.
Okay. I believe you didn't say, hey, can we not upload it to Spotify? Thank you. So.
I prefer
stuff.
Kick.
Oh man.
I prefer the Google Podcast retired app. Sorry.
To be fair, I was looking in a podcasting software for a little bit there, but that was because Spotify's like directions are a little weird. Turns out I could just upload it like YouTube style, just upload a video. Fuck it, it's really
Right.
fucking easy. But
I'm pretty sure you could probably set something out as a podcast on YouTube, and YouTube Music would see it as well, because you can do podcasts or YouTube Music.
I'm gonna have to do something with that. But yeah,
At least I think you can. I'd have to.
tonight I'm gonna hopefully upload the previous episode of the podcast, and then the next day, like I say on Mondays, this will be uploaded. But we'll see. I've been lazy. Maybe this time will nah. Okay, I'm just ending it. I never use the ending slide for the podcast. It's a lot easier to just cut off the beginning and then because I have to wait an hour for it to process in the software to cut it, and it's just like fuck. But yeah, bye. Go ahead and say bye, Rux.
Meh.
Bye.
Meh.